Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Chiron, square, opposition, or inconjunct one's natal midheaven. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Chiron, they can be about physical and emotional wounds and suffering, depleted self-worth and self-esteem, and also helping and healing others. Now, when you have transit Chiron, basically making an adverse aspect to the natal midheaven, well, I'm going to elaborate on that. When I say basically adverse aspect, okay, squares and oppositions, of course, those aspects are, those are negative and adverse aspects in astrology. Now, the inconjunct aspect, though it's neutral, keep in mind that neutral aspects can have good and bad qualities. And coupled with the fact that an inconjunct can often require an adjustment or a transition. And that in turn can cause some exasperation in tension. So basically, collectively, I do see this as an adverse transit. Now, the thing about this is, anyway, when transit Chiron basically makes an adverse aspect to the natal midheaven, well, it may manifest in physical and emotional wounds and suffering, depleted self-worth and self-esteem, and helping and healing others. It may conflict, for one thing, with one's career. It can be where the physical problems are such where if you have any, there's a chronic illness or there's very extreme pain, it might be more of a challenge for you to take care of matters with your career. If you have transit Chiron, say is in Gemini, it could be something with the arms or the hands or the nerves, maybe causing some issues. If transit Chiron is in Virgo, it might be something with the spleen or the intestines, area that might be causing some problems. You performing your basic tasks at your job. Capricorn could be the transit Chiron is in Capricorn. It could be something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings, or a gallbladder. And the thing about this is too, and it might even be emotional suffering, which might be challenging. Your work. It could be matters with your career. It could be just simply, it could be also your responsibilities as well. And if you have, Chiron is also again connected with depleted self-worth and self-esteem. So if you're going through that at this time, this transit, then it may be harder to do things that are career related, or things that are just connected with your responsibilities in general. If the midheaven, natal midheaven, is in zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, it could be something with cooking, or it might be something with laundry or home, family related matters that you need to attend to at this time. It might be delving through history. It could be family history, ancestry that you had to do for whatever reason. You might be trying to find old photographs of family members. Just could be something very simple like that. But the thing about it is you just don't, and if you have any physical related issues, of course, it's going to be harder to do those things. But the thing is, that could be true regardless of transits, but it may be more intensified in a transit like this in contrast to many others. Now, the midheaven is also connected with the dominant parent, which is often the father. And the thing about this is, when you have this transit, it can be a time where considering Chiron is connected with ineptitude, or at least where we feel inept, you might feel that you just feel inept in being able to help this person at this time. Again, the dominant parent, which is often the father. If this is a person that is suffering some debilitation or some chronic illness, and you might feel like you don't have it in you to help, whether that's true or not. It just may be something where you don't have that, you feel you don't have that ability. And if you are, again, going back to the possible physical suffering that's associated with Chiron, you might not be up to doing so at this time, and you might feel helpless in terms of being able to help this person. Now, the midheaven is also connected with older people. And if you have any older people that are prominent in your life scheme. It can be, a friend that that's older, or some prominent friend, and it might be something where if you're trying to get assistance from these people, and whether it might be the dominant parent, which is often the father, or the older people, maybe there's difficulty in getting those people to help you deal with some emotional suffering or some physical related matter at this time. If the transit Chiron, say, is in Pisces in the 11th house as an example, maybe you're dealing with some betrayal or deception or duplicity from a friend or an acquaintance or a group, club, or organization, and it might be causing more of emotional suffering. It might be causing some despondency, and in trying to get the support from these people, from the dominant parent, from older people, and even people that you may be close with that are in a position of authority. If you're in a position at a job where you're in a subordinate or subservient role, naturally you're going to have an authority figure. You're going to have some manager that's going to be over you. And if you're trying to say, well, can I have some time off from work or something, they might not be as overly sympathetic to that at this time, in contrast to other transits. Now, another thing too is that the midheaven is also connected with the reputation and public image. So when you have this transit, it might be where somebody has done something, the word is to besmirch you or to vilify you and do something that has been detrimental to your public image and reputation. It might be more, pain at this time, dealing with it. It might be where you're lamenting over it more, or there's something where it might be hard for you, feel like for some reason maybe you're going, it might be where its cause might have exacerbated already perhaps depleted self-worth or self-esteem, and it might be making it worse at this time if something like this has indeed taken place. Now, another thing is that the midheaven is also associated with accomplishments and achievements. And during this time, again, if you're dealing with some physical related ability, or there's some situation where you're going through very strong physical pain, if the transit Chiron is in Libra, it could be something with the lower back or kidneys. There may be issues, I'm pronouncing this right, with the endocrine system that might be causing some problems for you to accomplish things in your life at this time. Now, transit Chiron at the time that I'm making this video is currently in Aries, as many of you may know. And that could reflect issues with the face or the skull, the head, sometimes even trauma to the brain. And if there's any issues that are going on currently, and somebody's having this transit around the time of this video, then naturally, though, if you're having some physical issues with that, it could just simply be migraine headaches. It might cause more problems for you to do your work and your career at this time, or just simply to accomplish things in general. Now, another way this transit may manifest, it could be where it may be difficult to help and heal others due to career-related matters. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal midheaven is in Capricorn, that career may be connected with information technology, accounting, dentistry, masonry, general mundane work. It could be, architecture, construction, as some examples. And also, too, physical or emotional wounds may make it difficult for you to take care of your responsibilities at this time. Now, if the, let's say, for example, if the natal midheaven is in the zodiac sign Cancer, those responsibilities may be tied into a real estate deal. It might be home renovation or remodeling, could be siding, could be adding an extension or a partition to the home. Some examples could be just simply laundry, matters pertaining to the home and family in general. Hold on a moment, people. Also, sorry about that in the back, but anyway, Another way this transit may be expressed is depleted self-worth or self-esteem may adversely affect activities that you may have with the dominant parent, which is often again the father. Let's say, for example, if the natal midheaven is in Libra, it could be artistic endeavors, it could be something with acting even, uh, it could be just socializing. Maybe there's something of a legal matter that needs to be taken care of. And going back to artistic endeavors, that can cover a wide divergence of things, whether it's drawing, painting, sculpting, as some examples. And also, too, the pain that runs deepest, which is Chiron, may make it harder to accomplish things in general at this time. Let's say, for example, if the natal midheaven is in Scorpio, it could be doing something with with the occult, which includes astrology. It might be recycling, something with locksmithing, insurance, taxes, matters with a will, credit card issue, as some examples. And also, too, feelings of ineptitude may conflict, perhaps, just with your work in general, with your career. If the midheaven is in Pisces, it might be work in your career that may be associated with, it could even be fishing, working with boating on a dock, photography, chemistry, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.